Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be having a deep dive into the Sullivans' financial affairs. I know that sounds very controversial, but I want to know if they can afford the lifestyle that they have tried to make out of YouTube. So as we can see, the views are tanking at the moment for the Sullivans on their main channel. The most recent vlogs, they've had 3.5k, or 5.1 from a couple of days ago. 2.8 thousand views. That is absolutely atrocious. Clearly the exploitation of Toby didn't quite pull it in for you, did it? 5.5k to see how quickly Zoe falls asleep. 4.4 thousand people were desperate to know what Ben's new venture was. 6.7 thousand when it's Christmas involved at B&M's. The biggest one though for a long time was the 20-year anniversary special, which pulled in 7,800 people. That was an absolute cracker of a vlog. 4.9, 4.4, 7.1, again mentioning Christmas there, clearly brings in the views. 4.5, 4.3. These views are atrocious. There's one here though, 10,000 views, and you know why that got 10,000 views more than the others? Is because they clickbaited the fact that they had a report on them from somebody, and people obviously wanted to see what exactly happened and what the rant was about. And rants tend to bring in views, you know, bit of drama. But that's a one-off situation, as you can see. 4.1, 6.5, 3.4, right? Listening. 3.4 thousand people wanted to listen to Zoe on her educational tips. Yeah. So as you can see, these views are atrocious. They used to get in the region of 9, 10, maybe more per vlog, right? It was going in an upward trajectory. Let's have a quick look at the oldest ones, right? Old ones, yeah, these are quite old. So now the most popular videos on their channel, you know, you've got 103,000, 88,000, 55, 51, 48, 41. These are, you know, decent ones. A long time ago now, 2 or 3 years since they've got anywhere near that amount by the looks of things. They have got quite a few on their channel with decent amount of views, but that was a long time ago. For the past year or so, they've been teetering around the 9-10,000 mark. I'm sure they have. I can't find them now. But now they are just down like 3, 4, 5,000. Right, that's it. 3 to 5,000 views. That's pretty atrocious. I'm not gonna lie, it's atrocious. So So what happened was that Ben decided, well, Ben and Zoe decided, because the channel was looking up, you know, things were going well on their Facebook as well. They were getting lots of views, or well, lots of subs. Most of those were foreign, like scamming type people following them anyway. But then they took the decision, and it was the riskiest thing they could have done for their family, and that was to just say, nah, I'm not going to look for a job anymore. We're going to go it full time with our vlogging adventures, and it turned out to be the wrongest decision that they could have made, because the views are going down so significantly. The question is, though, how are they making ends meet? How are they surviving on what they have? How is it possible? I've often wondered this, because the views at the moment, say even if 5,000 views a day, that's not a lot. That really is not a lot. I mean, you're talking £40 per day. That's not good for a day's work, right? You wouldn't get paid. You'd get paid a lot more than £40 in a day. That's what I'm saying. So before we find out exactly how much they earn per month, we're going to see how much their outlays are per month. And this is really interesting, something I've not really gone into in great detail. But today we're going to food, housing, council tax, utilities, the whole shebang. This is so interesting. Don't go anywhere. So now their food bill, how much do they pay on food every month or even week? Yeah, they do it weekly, but we need to calculate it into month. So their latest food bill, according to their channel, was £434. Right, so that's for the week, okay? £434. We're going to calculate that into a 4-weekly amount. So £434 times by 4 equals £1,736 is their food bill for the month. That's a lot of money, that is. That's huge. Wonder where they're getting that money from. Wow. It's apart from how much to feed your kids and where the money's coming from to feed those kids, there is the aspect of where the money's coming from for the rent on the property, and more specifically, how much is the rent. Now, obviously, with no real way to find out, it's a council house as far as I'm aware, but we're going to look for a basic idea of how much it should cost if it was on the private sector market. Okay, so I don't know if council houses are cheaper than the private sector, I'm not sure, but this is a website here. It's a rent calculator. How much rent should I charge? Now, this is from a perspective of a homeowner who wants to rent out the property, a landlord, if you will. So what you do here is you enter the postcode of the property. So it's there, and then we find the address. I'm going to be blurring this out, don't worry, because, you know, I'm not all about doxing. Right. They don't mind doxing themselves, but, you know, there you go. So that's the address there. Next, property type is an entire house. Was it a detached house? Number of bedrooms are 6. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I did do my research and it said it's a 6-bedroom house. Number of bathrooms, there's 2, I believe. There's one upstairs and one downstairs, the one that they keep all the crap in downstairs. And we calculate the price. So clever this is. And it says that it should cost £1,680 per month. Now, I don't know if that sounds right or sounds wrong, but to be honest with you, it should be a lot of money because it's a huge house, and yeah, it's this huge house, right? Based on the current rental market as well, you know, prices are going up, as we all know. So yeah, that's a huge outlay per month, and they don't even earn that on YouTube. Actually, they don't earn that at all on YouTube. Ooh, that's awkward, isn't it? would make my skin shiver and quiver. Can't provide for my children. That's awkward, really. Now, there's other things. I wonder, because obviously they have to pay their council tax, don't they? I always forget about that one. Right, council tax. Let's have a look to see if we can find out how much council tax they have to pay. These are the council tax bands for the area where they live. I've already checked it all out. They're council tax band A, and these are the charges. So it's very interesting to me, actually. It says here there's council tax, there's water and wastewater. Now, I've googled that, and according to Google, at least, it says that you guys, water is included in your council tax bill. Is that right? Because that's what it says anyway. I mean, that's not what we do, so don't know. Don't come for me if I'm wrong. But anyway, the upshot of it is that they pay £1,449.43 per year, and let's see if we can get that as a monthly fee. All right, so £1,449.43, can't forget that. Divide that then by 12 equals £120.79, give or take. Yep, £120.79 per year, per month, even, not per year. So there's no efficient way to estimate the gas and electric of a property unless you live there and you have all your bills and stuff, and you know how much you're using and things like that, right? I don't have any of that information for the Sullivans, you know. I may be a major stalker, but I'm not that much of a stalker, right? So we're going to ChatGPT to get a rough estimate. Now, it could be accurate, it could be way off, but let's try and see if we can get something out of it. So what I'm going to ask it is, how much would a 6-bedroom house cost for gas and electric? All right, here we go. It's got me an answer. Depends, apparently. What affects the cost? Here's some of the major variables. Yeah, obviously, right, blah, blah. Rough estimate for a 6-bedroom house. A 6-bedroom house is larger than the 5/4+ bedroom category, often used in averages, so expect higher than those. From UK averages, a large home, 4+ bedrooms, uses about 17,000 kilowatts of gas plus 4,100 kilowatts of electricity per year. That results in typical gas and electric bills of 2,400 to 2,500 per year under current price caps. Since a 6-bedroom house will generally consume more rooms, more heat, more hot water, etc., we might scale that up by maybe 20 to 40%, depending on how 6-bedroom the house is, number of bathrooms, extensions, etc. My estimate, that's ChatGPT's estimate, not mine personally, they reckon £2,800 to £3,500 plus per year. In peak usage, winters, it might be higher. Right. Okay. So in monthly terms, that works out to something like £230 to £290 plus per month on average. See, I reckon it's going to be even higher than that because of the amount of people that live in there. A 6-bedroom house, you might expect there to be 6, 7, 8 people, maybe, depending on the ages of the people, but they've got 14. That's huge. So the amount of electric used, like they've all got iPads, they've all got chargers plugged in, they're all watching TV constantly 24 hours a day, they're all, you know, they're doing something which uses electric, and then there's the hot water that's going to be used on a daily basis. Oh my god, right? So it's going to be a lot more. I'm putting it down as 300, but I reckon it's probably more, my opinion. So the totals are: for food, £1,736, housing £1,680, council tax £120.79, the gas and electric is £300. So the total per month that they have to pay as a minimum is, drum roll please, the total is £3,836.79. Now, obviously, that's an estimate because nobody can know exactly how much they have to pay. Don't know if the rent, for example, is accurate or not, but we're given rough guidelines here to see how they are able to afford things. Now, £3,836.79. That's an awful lot of money. Let's go and find out if they can actually afford it. So now let's take a look at how much they are potentially earning per month just from YouTube alone, and see if it's enough for them to live on, you know, because don't forget they have 14 people to feed daily and put a roof over their heads. So this is the social blade for the Sullivans. If we go down here, these are the views. You can see the views every day here. 7, 6. This is across their entire channel because this is more accurate than just seeing how much they get on a daily basis per video. So this is how many views they rack up across their entire channel, and including all the old videos, and it's not really looking good for them. 7.2, 6.9, 6.5. It's just pretty poor. It's poor. It's like people don't go back and rewatch their old stuff. Now, the Inghams live off the fact that people binge watch their old, you know, their classics, if you like. The Sullivans don't have that. They don't have any classics. So they don't have people or the kids going back rewatching these things. So they just live off basically what they get almost on a daily basis. And it's not looking good. As you can see here, the daily average for the last 30 days is 6.3 thousand. That is pretty poor. Per week is 41.3, and the last 30 days is 190.3. So a daily average 6.3. Now, it's obviously there's a lot of different factors that come into play about how much that means in monetary terms. Never go off what Social Blade says because it is so far off and it doesn't take into account anything. Now my RPM is somewhere in the region of £7 at the moment. It gets a bit more because it's getting towards Christmas, and they will have something similar probably. So their daily average of 6.3 is, so it's 6.3 times by 7. I'll be right with you. So 6.3 times by 7 equals £44.10. That's on a daily basis. Now most people, right, the average, well, the minimum wage these days is £12.30 something. So if we do that and say somebody's working, I don't know, 7 hours a day, right? 7 hours times by £12.30 would be £86.10. So they are getting on a daily average probably at least £42 less than like a minimum wage job, and that's not good, is it? I mean, they have to earn more than the average person, not less, because they have more than the average people to feed, and they have a bigger house than most people. So it's not looking good for them. I'm not quite sure where they're getting this money from, to be honest with you. It's definitely not on YouTube anyway, because £44. So let's look at it from a monthly perspective. That's 190.3. And we times that then by 7 equals £1,332 and 10 pence. So there's a 10 pence in there for some reason. Yep. £1,332 and 10 pence per month. And that's a lot less than the national average. I'm certain of that. Now this is Zoe Sullivan's Patreon, her famous Patreon, which is falling by the wayside by every day by the looks of things. At the moment, it says here they've got 29 paid members. Now I'm sure back a few months back they had about 60. I'm certain of that. Right, I feel like I calculated at one point and it was like £300 a month. It's not that anymore. 29 paid members, times that by £5, which is what they get approximately per member, and that equals £145 per month as an extra added bonus for all the work that goes into this social media lark, isn't it? No wonder she's not really posting a great deal on there, because there's not a lot of people actually paying attention. So the total income from the Sullivans is, from YouTube, you got £1,332 and 10 pence. From Patreon, there's £145. Now, I know that they are in some sort of scheme with Facebook. I don't know how much they get. I don't think it'll be an awful lot anyway. But the total that we have here is £1,477 and 10 pence, which is, you know, it's still a lot less than the average wage, I would say, the average minimum wage, that is. So it's not a lot. So what we do now is we have the income of £1,477 and 10 pence, the outgoings of £3,836 and 10 pence, and we're going to find out what the total is and what their net position is. Their net income is minus £2,359, and that is quite an awful position to be in. You know, maybe I'm missing something, because that's an awful lot of you know, a down. Like it's not even a little bit less, it's a lot less per month than they can afford. So I don't know where they're getting the rest of this money from. Oh wait, hang on a second, let's ring the bell and get the government involved. Now here's the benefits of having a large family. The child benefits, in actual fact. Now, this is a UK-wide benefit system for the children that you have. You get child benefit if you're responsible for bringing up a child who is under 16 or under 20 if they stay in approved education or training. Only one person can get child benefit for a child. There's no limit to how many children you can claim for. Now, the Sullivans, they have 12 kids, but one of them is not eligible. I mean, somebody might want to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of them is not eligible. One of them is 20 or 20. The rest are 19 and under. And as far as I know, they're all in education, but I might be wrong with certain ones. So please correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, right, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They get child benefit, and we're going to work out exactly how much they get right now. So the first child will get, the first child, or the eldest child, gets £26.5 per week. So additional children get £17.25. So that is 11 children, 10 of whom are eligible. So 10. Sorry, I'm working out in my head which children are eligible, but I think it's 11 in total, 10 of whom get £17.25, so that equals, let's work that one out, £17.25 times by 10, that equals £172.50, plus the £26.5, which is for the eldest child, so that equals £198.55 per week. If we then times that by 4 to get the monthly amount, and that equals £794.20 per month for child benefit. So if you thought getting nearly £800 extra just for having so many children is insane, that's not all. That is not all, because apparently alongside getting the child benefit, which is a UK-wide benefit, they also have the benefit of living in Scotland, where there is such a thing as a Scottish child payment, right? And you get that per child for every child that's under the age of 16. Now, they have 8 children under the age of 16, and for that you get £27.15 per week. So if we take that £27.15, you times that by the 8 children who are eligible on this one, that equals £217.20. And if we times that by 4 to get the monthly total, £868.80. So to do our final calculations, we get child benefit of £794.20, Scottish child payments of £868.80, which means a total child payment benefits of £1,663. That's £1,663, and oh my god, that's a huge amount of money. That's a huge amount of money. Extra money. Huge amount of money. So to recalculate their earnings, YouTube has £1,332.10, Patreon £145, and the child benefits of £1,663, which gives us a grand total of income recalculated as £3,140.10. That sounds a little bit more like it. So we have to now recalculate the incomes and outgoings to reflect this new improved figure. So their income is £3,140.10. Their outgoings is still £3,836.10, which gives them an ultimate improved net position of minus £696, and that's an awful lot of an improvement. You know, before they were over £2,000 in the red, and now it's only £696, which gives a little bit of room to maneuver, if you like, because what it means is if I've miscalculated certain things, maybe they earn a little bit more on YouTube than I've put, or maybe they pay a little bit less rent than I've put. You know, it gives them that, you know, and also there's probably side hustles that they've got going on. I know they do earn a little bit on Facebook. I don't know how much. I'm not part of that Facebook crowd, so I don't really know exactly how much you can earn. From what I've seen, you get around about $4 to $10 per 1,000 views on one of your little videos, right? So it's not an awful lot, and judging by their views, they don't get an awful lot of views, so it's probably minimal. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much a rough calculation, but the one thing that is very, very apparent, no matter what the calculations are, whether they're accurate or not accurate, it's vastly helped by the fact that they have so many children. Vastly. It's incredible the amount of money that they get. In fact, they actually earn more for having children than they earn, right? They earn about £1,600 a month out of child benefits, and they at the same time earn about £1,300, £1,400 on social media. So it looks like having kids pays, clearly. That's a controversial thing. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be helped out if you need help when you're bringing up a child, because children cost money and the child should never suffer. But when you're having 12 children, I certainly hope that wasn't a factor in them having the kids, but it definitely helps them to pay their bills. And that's the reason why they're surviving, basically. And obviously Ben's probably still got some of his pension pot left from the the payout from the RAF and things like that. So yeah, that's how it is. Anyway, I hope you've loved having a little look, a deep dive into the Sullivans' financial affairs. Please give this video a massive thumbs up, because it did take a little bit of brain power. Sometimes my brain doesn't work properly. So if anybody has seen anything I've missed, let me know, please. Thank you. Comment all of your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more and more and more. The downfall is near with the Sullies. I can sense it.